Hi, I want to give a explanation of essential question number 1 that was given on May 2nd, 2012. So now you're a CEO of a mobile app development company, so we're part of the app economy. And let's deal with the first question there in red. A VC firm funds your initial startup costs in exchange for a 20% stake in the company. Sweet, so what's going on here is that you've got this increase in assets, so that's the cash that's flowing in, and at the same time you've got this increase in owner equity. So just remember that the balance sheet has to balance, so changes in assets have to be balanced off by changes in liabilities and changes in owner equity. Sometimes you get lucky and all the changes in assets balance each other out, like if you're taking cash and buying a piece of equipment with it, but sometimes it flows over into the other two parts. Now, things on the balance sheet have a tendency to echo over into the cash flow statement, and usually what happens if you got a change in owner equity, like we've got right here, that ends up being a change in finance, and because you've had an inflow of cash, you can see that in the assets, you know that you've had an increase in cash from finance, right there. So let's go ahead and move over to the second question. It says your app is highlighted in the App Store and your App Store sales soar. So basically what this is supposed to mean is you've got an increase in revenue. What they're trying to get at is to make it so that you know for sure your net income went ahead and increased. You may go ahead and say that perhaps there's this really tiny increase in operating expenses. This is like the share Apple takes or something along those lines. But what you're hoping for is that there's this actual increase in net income that's here. Things that are on the income statement flow over into the cash flow statement into operations. So what we're looking at here is an increase in cash from operations as a result of that being highlighted. So let's go ahead and move over to new color for the third question. So we're now yellow. You hire new developers to start work on porting your app to other operating systems. You haven't quite done it yet. So what's going on is that there's this increase in operating expenses that are there, and what you're having is an increase in net income and having cash from operations. There's kind of a more complex answer to this one too, where you suddenly are developing an asset that you're going to eventually amortize because you're busy porting this app. So some of you may go ahead and do something over in assets on as another possibility, as well as an increase in owner equity. And you know, there's again that one's highly unlikely. I'm more likely to see this one, so you should be okay with that too. Let's move over to green. Next question down. Rival company releases a copy of your app, causing sales to fall. Okay, so the idea that you have here is you got a decrease in revenue that's taking place. Remember, this is an app. It's not like something that there's a lot of embedded wood and metal in it. So the variable cost there being 0 just means that there's no expenses to worry about. So you'll see a decrease in net income and a decrease in cash from operations. And please note that this is just the exact opposite of question 2. It's intended to work that way. So let's go ahead and move on to blue. And for blue, we're going to go ahead and hire a law firm and give them a cash retainer to prepare to sue your new rival. So we haven't quite gotten around to the suing yet. So what we have is that we've got this increase in assets that are there. So the increase in assets we have is that we've paid somebody else a retainer. It's still ours. They still owe it to us. So that's a new kind of asset for us. But at the same time, we've made our own cash go down. So you can see that the assets went up and down over there in the assets component. Now, this is kind of tricky because what you're actually doing is lending that other firm some money. And so what's going on here is you have a decrease in cash from finance. But this is tricky enough so you can probably get away with us marking as a decrease in cash from investments, probably too. But the really correct answer is finance, but I'm guessing that investments is probably going to be okay with Grant and Adam. Next one down the line is going to be selling your old computers from cash. This one's going to look really familiar too. Watch this. You see an increase in cash. You see a decrease in your computer, so it balanced all out on the balance sheet right there in the asset section. And you have an increase in cash from investments. Remember, the cash flow statement is checking the cash. So you should hear it in your head as increase in cash from investments, not increase in investments. So moving along to purple. You take out a loan to pay for new computer monitors, in which case the Best way of doing this one is to say, look, I get all these new computer monitors, so I've got an increase in assets, and I have an offsetting increase in liabilities. So the way this one's going to work out is that there was no net cash that transacted there. So you know that purchasing the computer monitors generally means that cash will flow out, so you've got a decrease in cash from investments, but borrowing money means that cash flows in, so you've got an increase in cash from finance there. And finally, again, this one will be in black. A toy company offers you $1 million in cash to turn the characters from your app into action figures, and you accept. Big boost in revenue, big boost in net income, big boost in cash from operations. And there you go. Here's a quick little explainer to essential question number 1 given on May 2nd, 2012.